Hello and welcome to ZeldaSpeedRuns. We're back with more coverage of the A Link to the Past All Dungeons tournament. We've got apathyduck facing off against Kyong 92 in the winners bracket round 1 today. On commentator, we've got Nini. Say hello.
Hey.
And Anders. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself?
I'm doing quite well. I actually just recently, just before this, I came off my personal stream, just sent my got a world record. And send my people over here. But yeah, we've got beautiful runners here. We're gonna be starting very shortly here. Why don't you tell us how the two runners got here while we're still waiting on them to start?
So, first off, I need to point out that the runners have to pick each other's file names, which always makes me laugh. We have Swerve Help and Hover. Yes, it is. I am back in the comms booth. So this is the second stage of our Link to the Past All Dungeons Restricted Major Glitches tournament. The first portion that we had was the group stage. Everyone was set in groups of 3 to 4 depending, and they duked it out to see who ended up in which in which bracket. We have our major bracket here, and then we also have a silvers bracket that kicked off yesterday. So these two runners have been through the gamut to get here. So it should be a really, really good turnout for us.
Oh yeah, and the way that the placements were judged is based on their averages of run times, not their PB, on what they did in the group stages. So if you got a lower time, your opponent was often was taken from like the lower point. So if you got a really low score and then the lowest score, which went with the highest score, and then so on and so forth down the line. So if you kind of averaged out between both of your races and then with your group stages times, you could end up with some really close matches here that are not really taken in consideration of personal bests.
Yeah. So we have apathyduck07 Salute, who ended up our 11th seed in the tournament. He's also one of the tournament admins. And Kyong 92, who ended up the 22nd seed. I think this is my 4th run of Kyong's that I've actually commentated, so I'm getting very familiar with their gameplay here.
Start. Oh, sorry, where are you gonna go?
Oh, I was just gonna start talking because no one else was. We all know
Gotcha.
that's dangerous.
So right now we're just going to go through the essential beginnings of the game. All of the restricted major glitches runs and all of the no major glitches runs will be going through this segment. Escape. The main goal of this is just to go downstairs, rescue Zelda, and then take the back hidden passage. And we're going to be delivering Zelda to the sanctuary. This segment is pretty
Boring.
straightforward. Yeah, I didn't want to use boring, but but yeah, it's pretty straightforward. It's just a lot of execution heavy, and then based on some later parts in this dungeon, we're gonna have players basically kind of looking for the RMG and then adapting to it as they go along. So you'll see farther along when they get into like the back half of it where rats are, snakes, stuff like that, and how they adjust.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, you're right. I can't really add much to that, but this is like you said, some of the more tame stuff that we're going to see today. Consider it your warm-up. You can do a little AMA if you have anything you want to ask us. Or ask about the game, ask about the category. Like I mentioned this morning, it is National Grilled Cheese Sandwich Day, so you can ask me about that.
Well, what is your ideal grilled cheese sandwich, now that I have you here about?
So here's the deal, and many people in the A Link to the Past community already know this, so I will try to be brief. I'm moving next month. One of my dreams has always been to have a grilled cheese housewarming party, in which I brew a vat of tomato soup, possibly a bisque, if you will, and I get some staples like certain breads and cheeses and maybe some toppings if people want to get crazy. And I encourage people to bring their own cheeses or breads, and I'm just gonna griddle them up, quarter them, and we're gonna have a grilled cheese party. So that's how I feel about grilled cheese. Shred your own cheese. Shred your own cheese. That's the other thing.
Yeah,
that I
you
can
don't
say.
want to use the stuff that's already pre-shredded.
Oh, absolutely not. It's covered in potato starch. Anyway, back to the game, I guess.
I mean, I just want to add really quick, when it comes to cheeses, I actually like to skillet the cheese. So without the bread, because I tend to use cheeses of varying melting temperatures, some hard, some soft cheeses. So I like to make sure that they at least start to get, a little bit soft before they hit the bread. So that way I'm not actually burning the bread. And then of course,
Okay.
you could do rye, you could do sourdough. You can even just go like with the nice French bread, but whichever way you do it, you always want to brush some butter onto it and top it off at the very end with some Italian seasonings, and you can't go wrong.
So, Ninnies, do you want to come to my housewarming party?
I would love to if I could afford the travel right now, but what I'll do is when you do move, I will have a grilled cheese and I will send you a picture of me eating.
Oh, baby. Wow. So that I had a moment there. When anyone starts talking about food to me, it's maybe when this quarantine is over, we can all get together.
I mean, that sounds fantastic. And
Yeah.
speaking of moments, we're kind of going through this little moment right now, which is apathyduck having a little bit of trouble here with that rat. Juked him a
Yeah.
little bit, didn't quite get the sword, and then he's getting pelted by these rats, unfortunately. Kyong had much easier times here.
Yeah. Now, we're gonna point out, especially for apathyduck, in my case, every little thing that he does wrong, and then the major things that Kyong does wrong, if anything. But these first two segments, Escape and Eastern, should be pretty natural for us. I'm not expecting too much craziness to occur, but you never know. Both of them have dropped Zelda off and are just speeding through this old priest, I don't know, I was raised Jewish, text, whatever. Citrus try for duck. Yeah, so next we'll be heading out to Eastern Palace with our first changes from your typical any percent no major glitches by saving quitting so we can more easily get to the Eastern Palace area. Chat is going a little bit crazy with trying to figure out what Apathy's citrus attempt is. Apathy is very likely going to try the citrus glitch, which is a bootless buffer to get into a wall, avoid some enemies, and hop into the entrance to Eastern Palace. Oh dang, that was actually pretty smooth. I'm not too mad about it. He gets a 110 entry.
I did want to point out there's already a variation in between both of our runners. So apathyduck opting to go for the more traditional save and quit, and then Kyong ended up grabbing the Sanctuary Heart. Grabbing the Sanctuary Heart could signify for Kyong that they are going to go for the silvers in the Palace of Darkness. So it's important to note that silvers initially is a time loss, but for keeping your run alive and making some of the bosses, specifically the first gatekeeper, Helmasaur, makes it insanely safer. And at how quickly some of the bosses die, it can actually really help you gain that time back. It just matters on execution.
Yeah, I can't really argue with you. You know the things and stuff.
I mean, I've definitely played this game once or twice.
That's like pretty much more than me. I think I'm at what is it? I'm at 13 completed runs for no major glitches. I will also point out that according to the splits that Kyong is running, Kyong seems to be planning specifically to get the silvers.
Yeah,
So,
looking at it
your hunch was
at their
right.
PB.
Well, I was just talking about the title.
Oh yeah, that actually would, if I were to look and notice
See,
that.
here's the
and
thing.
utilize my
Ninnies is
rings.
playing it cool. Ninnies knew this already. Just wanted me to feel smart about something, because we all know that's not going to happen. So thank you for that.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's totally.
We should probably talk about that big key skip that Apathy just did, along with the one that Kyong is doing right now. Both were very nice. A minimum 1.5 heart damage boost used to spawn that big key chest. We have seen it go very wrong in this tournament more than once now, even just in the bracket stages.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting skip. It utilizes the iframes that you take from the Pokey, not the Pokey.
Po.
The Popo, yes.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I know like 3 names of enemies.
Um,
Again, you're just trying to
yeah,
set me up
so-
to know things.
What's really interesting about it is that you have a fair amount of time to kind of get in there, grab that pot, and then move yourself into the position so that way you can touch the button as soon as your iframes come off, so that way you can interact with the floor, and then the anti-fairies will damage boost you up. Hopefully, would damage boost you up, but for the most times, like, they might damage boost you to the catty corners. As long as they don't damage boost you down, it's not really that much of a time loss. It's more of a frame save.
Absolutely. And I mean, Apathy's done it once or twice. He just walks in there, wakes up like he's P. Diddy, like there's nothing wrong there. Both going into the Armos fight, Apathy had a very clean one. Thank you, Ninnies. I know we always say this about a certain other boss, and I know we're going to say it about when we get there, but technically, Armos Knights is a scripted boss. Did I just blow your mind?
I think my mind's pretty blown. So we have quite a wild ride coming up for us right now. We're about to see a couple of glitches. We're going to see something that we call Death Mountain Ascension. Then we're also most likely to see something that we call Kiki Yeet, and then the Kiki Skip. So we're going to go through these a little bit at a time, starting with Death Mountain Ascension. So it begins with a save and quit here. We're going to go back to the Sanctuary. We're going to utilize the boots that we just got, and we're going to dash to a specific location, and we're going to utilize the spin speed, which is a glitch state that allows us to, when we leave certain staircases, allows Link to move any direction at the same speed that we would have the boots. Looks pretty cool, but what it does allow us to do here is it allows us to clip into that little vulnerable pixel state, and then we break the camera, enabling ourselves to hop off these invisible ledges that allow us to get into that cave, since we don't actually have the power glove, which is very, very useful. We're actually not going to pick up the power glove at all. It's completely unnecessary for this run.
Absolutely. I just wanted to pipe in there, and for those of you who are not technically proficient, i.e. the me's of our audience, basically you jump through a ledge and you do a little hoppy boy, and then you're on top of a mountain.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
So after we drop off the old man here, we're going to get the mirror. The mirror is useful for completing the run, but we're not necessarily going to utilize it here. If we're going to see Kyong using silvers, we are going to see it used rather shortly. So apathyduck is setting up for yet another spin speed on a vulnerable pixel here, and instead of moving all the way over on that, he taps over, so that way instead of getting above Hera, it's going to push Link into a spot where he can get into this cave that we are going to use a bomb clip to get into Palace of Darkness.
But you know what? He got bullied by those cabbages, and it's making me a little nervous.
Well, don't fear, there's a heart there, and then there is actually another heart in this room in the bottom left pot if apathyduck chooses to pick it up.
Which he doesn't. He might not know about that one. I don't know if he's ever played this game before.
So it looks like Kyong is over here setting up for something
It's the
I'm not
mirror.
quite sure.
So basically he wraps around is basically going to set it so that when he reloads the game, the mirror portal will be set at the Hyrule Castle pixel that he needs. Or no, he didn't do that this time.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen this route before, but that was actually really interesting to
No,
learn.
that
must
that
be
is
the newer.
new, and I talked about this one of the other times that I saw him. He was picking this game or this category up literally for this tournament, and it's Brahmin's clip, Brahmin Gold. I think no Brahmin Meat. That's right, Brahmin Meat. Yeah, everyone's got it. Brahmin came up with this right when everything was coming out, and he was like, Kyong was like, oh yeah, if I was gonna learn one of the silvers, I figured I'd do the better one, even though it was kind of harder. So he doesn't even know the other one.
That's pretty crazy. I don't think I've ever seen that before, and that was pretty masterful to see in just action how smoothly that was.
Yeah, Kyong is one of those people who's just a
flip here.
Kyong's one of those people who is just got an eye for those really interesting glitches. I've been not like I wouldn't say we're friends necessarily, you know, but we're friendly. Like I've watched Kyong do quite a bit of weird glitchy stuff that I don't understand.
Really quick, I did want to touch on what was so interesting about clipping into pod here. If you saw how the walls were a little bit weird, the cave state is unique in that it will allow us to unlock that first door. We can actually unlock any of the small key doors, but that one is very specific for us to do, as it allows us to take that key that you just saw Kyong pick up, and we get to carry it a little bit farther. So that way we can actually pick up one less key in this dungeon, therefore giving it a very interesting and unique routing.
Well, Apathy has said "buh-buh-buh-buh" in chat, which makes me believe that maybe something's about to happen.
Well, we'll have to see.
I think it was about him shooting randomly through an open doorway instead of at a mimic.
Well, sometimes you just have to donate arrows to the arrow god.
That's true. PBR mimics, is that the strat? Apathy for PBR. I think I have the apathy. Thank you, Siptix. From the point that Apathy is at right now, through the boss of this dungeon, there are no other heart drops, so let's just keep our fingers crossed for some deathless Palace of Darknesses and Helmasaur King fights. Helma is still...
Nice controlled movement from Kyong on that hammer jump.
Absolutely.
Dropped the bomb and then just got really slick into that that second perfect pixel that you need to be at in order to complete that. What's really weird is like in NMG, like the hammer jump is probably one of the more interesting parts about it, but with how all dungeons is routed and executed, there's just so many really awesome clips that you get to do that like hammer jump is really kind of like small potatoes.
Absolutely. More from apathyduck. He takes a hit from Helmasaur King. You can take
here.
2. Oh, thank goodness he did it. We love to see a deathless Helma, because man, this is one of the I would say 2 hardest places to die in this category.
Yeah, Apathy also did a little bit more of a risky but high risk, high reward kind of a thing, utilizing hammer dashes in order to hit. It's unique in that it will lock you in place a little bit, and it's really close movement you have to do, but it does extend the hitbox, so you're able to maybe get 1, maybe 2 hits with that hammer really quick in a shorter amount of time, making that fight once you get it down, looks so easy. Let's see how Kyong is going to take it on. It's got 3 more rooms to go through here.
Kyong has a very nice turtle room as opposed to Apathy's, which was a little bit more wild. Now bed sores, and again, this is a matter of opinion, but I would say dying in Ice Palace because the magic route is so hard.
Yeah, you really need all that magic, and like there is a rare chance that the monsters outside of Ice Palace will drop you some full magic refills, but it's so rare, and you'll lose so much time trying to get into it. Kyong had a really clean fight here, got those silver arrows out and just won straight to.
But you know, I could also see arguments for Meyer because of how long that split is, or gosh, you know, I guess what I'm trying to say is everything is hard. We are going to see
this category, when you're trying to execute it optimally, is very technical and very tough.
Show us where the game hurt you on the dolly. The entire dolly hurts.
Everywhere. And on the inside, too.
Oh, gosh.
So we're here in the Space Invader room. Just,
Space Invader?
chilling. Yeah. Didn't you notice the shapes make a nice little Space Invader?
Oh my gosh, you're right. I was wondering what that looked like. I usually call it the A Link to the Past auto scroller.
I mean, it is as close to an auto scroller as you can get in this game.
Yeah.
I'm going for the faster approach into Hera. That clip is really cool to get. However, if you don't do the diagonal right after you land, you can actually soft lock yourself pretty easily.
I want to just let you all know on a personal level how both runners are doing. Looks like Kyong has 2 golds. This is not his actual PB for AD, but I believe it's his PB for AD RMG silvers. He is almost a minute ahead. Apathy's also looking all green over here.
Here's your favorite.
Oh, look at that speed. Look how speedy boy he is.
Rolling around at the speed of sound.
So we were doing our sound check earlier, and you know, I'm a singer. A lot of my stuff was my history's opera, and so I was like, oh, would you like to hear the Mozart or the Bellini? And no one thought it was funny, but I did.
I wish I was cultured enough to know that, so that way I could join you in this joke.
Trust me, it's not very cultured. Easy Moldorm fight, I guess, from apathyduck.
Yeah, both of our runners seem just to be on a tear in all the dungeons they're entering.
They're just doing real nice stuff. We're not at the dungeon gauntlet yet. That's where things start to get hairy after. You know, after you get past pod, you can take one small breath. Bed sores, the answer to that is Carlisle, Floyd, Susanna. We see apathyduck doing a Death Mountain descent, as opposed to the ascent that we saw beforehand. We descend the mountain, what a concept. And we do it in a way that allows us to use a portal to stay in Dark World, because otherwise we would have no Dark World access, and we need that to be able to get to Thieves Town. Which is
But luckily, the way that this game is located is that Death Mountain, while it looks elevated, when you look at a map of it, it's really just a little bit below. So we utilize spin speed once again to get into vulnerable pixels. And nice save with that, holding that sword out for Kyong. Sorry, I interrupted myself, but that was really nice to see. But yeah, we just get into some vulnerable pixels like we're going to be doing consistently, but by utilizing that spin speed, almost all those corners are really susceptible to just Link just like literally walking through them.
Oh, we have Bwain in chat. Could I please get an exclamation point Bwain? Maybe 2. Let's see how... Ooh, I think he got the God Pixel. Still managed a little lag on apathyduck's side with that Heckway, but made it through. We're all very proud. As proud as you could be of apathyduck07. Because we are doing these Dark World dungeons early, basically everything hurts a lot. We have less health, we are less powerful, we have a fighter sword. The Zaziks, the little grasshopper boys, and everything else, they can just kind of destroy us and make us very, very sad. So
yeah,
we gotta
we're
be
very
careful.
ill-equipped here.
Except for the boss.
Oh?
Yeah, now, I don't know if you know this, but the boss of Thieves Town, which technically, according to the game, is Thieves' Town, it's a scripted fight.
Wait, no. You told me that the first boss in Eastern was scripted.
No, hey, hear me out. Hear me out on this one. It's a scripted fight.
Okay,
The
go
fight
on.
is the same as long as you do it the same, and when you don't do it the same, it's not scripted.
Okay, so let me see if I'm following you. If you enter the fight and you fight the boss the same way every time, it will be the same every time?
By George, I think he's got it.
Also, real talk, that recovery by Kyong by getting back on that safety pixel, like, just like
I'm
adjusted
telling you.
and got through it really clean.
Kyong is a very smart player. I mean, incredibly good at just those little minute details, allowing them to move exactly what you just saw.
So we're dealing with a master of the pixels here.
Yeah, some could say that he's pixel perfect.
So we see apathyduck setting up for the second part of the fight and getting ready for the third part right here. And just as Anders said, scripted fight, scripted life. Tick-tock on the clock, put it there.
Already don't stop, I don't know. I don't know much Kesha. I think Apathy's gonna have to help us out.
I don't know, but we all know that she saw the sunlight.
So, fun fact, and I'm totally fine with making fun of myself in this. And if this person is around for some reason, I apologize, but I have an ex from high school who a few years ago tried to start a career as a pop musician, and he took the C in his name and changed it to the cent sign, and based his pop star persona off of Kesha.
Makes
and I'm
sense.
not kidding. I felt a lot of not very nice things. Anyway, apathyduck has no respect for any architecture and just blew up a building.
It's also sad when your pun is so clever, but it just goes so far off the wayside.
Yeah. Oh, we're seeing some frog door. Fingies crossed in chat for a successful frog door. But first, knowledge is power. Just frog don't. Bwain's got the right idea.
And Kyong also has the right idea here, setting up for a nice setup for the third. Ooh, even with that hit though, was in the right position to still get that scripted.
Oof. Frog door is a strat to get the frog through a door. It stresses me out. Apathy did it right. Are we behind? Let me do a little reload.
Yeah, I was getting some buffering too. Let me just go ahead and fix this.
Can someone delete Chex Human's message? Because I'm offended. Or wait, no, I got it. There we go. So Apathy is getting ready to get his bacon sword, while Kyong decides to hate on architecture. Takes an unfortunate heart loss there, but that's okay.
Yeah, the bomb frames are really weird with that door. You could the entire explosion animation could be gone, and you'll still get hit by the blast.
Apathy manages the fence stash, a really, really difficult trick. That saves about 20 minutes overall.
Well, if it saves that much, I hope Kyong gets it.
I guess we'll have to see. This is the real run killer. Looks like Kyong's going for Frog Door, and I think he's okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
if he wasn't okay, Link would.
We would know by now.
Yeah, Link would have disappeared somewhere weird. So, Skull Woods. What's interesting about this is that it's not. It runs pretty much exactly how the NMG segment is. So we're about to see just how the execution goes. apathyduck here having just nice RNG here with the mummies and getting through that, and not having the mummy in the front door right there too. So just a nice clean execution of that very annoying room.
Now, if any of you guys tell him that we're saying good things about him, I will personally come after you. That said, he did do a good job. Alright, here we go. Well, not quite yet. Kyong going for that bacon sword. We'll see how that goes. Apathy doesn't go for the early bomb jump. What a shame.
I mean, yeah. Using such an archaic and old, outdated method of jumping over that.
Oh no! Oh gosh, poor Kyong. Misses the fence dash. That's it. That's game over, friends.
Important note, if you don't actually know that we're making jokes about the fence dash, it doesn't save any time. Maybe a couple of frames.
Also, the biggest joke of all is me, so don't worry about it. And then he gets the bush skull. Man, poor dude.
I mean, I heard that is punishment for missing the fence dash.
Yeah. Apathy got one too, but his was just punishment for being apathyduck.
That sounds fair.
That is one donkey unit being saved in chat.
Uh-oh.
Oh no! That is a party if I've ever seen one.
But that was a nice
and then he
recovery,
misses
though.
the fire rod dash. Can you guys, chat, do not let me forget to make fun of him for his mummy neck way. And then for missing... Oh gosh, he's getting bullied. One donkey unit is 40 frames, checks. Shoutouts to Prince of Paws Buffers, Glanimal, Flannelman, who taught me that. Oh gosh, I am stressed. Oh, unfortunate death on apathyduck07's screen.
That was really unfortunate, and that was just really bad RNG. The left-right movement of that room makes it a little bit difficult. Did have the pokes trying to set that up, but unfortunately Mothula just got right in that little corner there and just basically had the fight its way.
I think, so here's some stuff about Mothula. Mothula is just kind of a jerk. The boss himself isn't that bad. If you had that boss, like, if you're a rando person, fine. If you have that boss and you are doing... Oh, shut up, Ajdar. If you have that boss and you're doing an enemizer and it comes up in a different venue, great. He sucks here because you have a conveyor belt floor, you have a sentient spike wall that comes at you, and that stupid bug doesn't always take damage. based on where those spikes are. Gets through it beautifully the second time.
Yeah, much better set up. The floor was going the direction that you wanted to see, which is going north-south, and then just was able to be aggressive with as much health as Duck had this time. Even though with that death, Duck was able to, still bring this boss down and able to keep the lead, but did give Kyong a lot of time to catch up here. We're
And
about to
don't
see how
forget
close
that
they
Kyong
are
has
once we see the sword up.
Kyong got silvers, so that's another thing we have to remember. This just became a very close race with that in mind.
Yeah, because we have Meyer coming up, and Meyer could be really quick for Kyong. So, Desert Palace.
21 seconds between sword ups between the two of them.
That's real good. So, Desert Palace. Unfortunately, there's really no real way for us to kind of...
Katy Perry being a jerk to Apathy.
Unfortunately, there's a way that we can clip into Desert, but there's no way we can clip into Meyer. So we do have to do a little bit of overworld, just picking up some stuff. So the whole reason why we got that book is just so that way we can get the Ether Medallion. And then we're going to come over here and we're going to do yet another Death Mountain descent. But this time, we're going to utilize the money that we've picked up during the last split. We're going to pick us up some finger webs.
Heck yeah. Are they considered toe webs?
I believe the way they're in the guidebook is as finger webs, but I mean they are for your toes, so are they for your finger toe web?
I don't know, man. That's a thing. So, I also do want to point out, as I have my past few commentating gigs, this category has a lot of unnecessarily unitasked items. That Ether Medallion, for one, the Book of Majora, for 2, the Ice Rod, for 3, and that's very upsetting, because they're just kind of taking up space. I'm not a fan of unitaskers. I take after Alton Brown in that respect. So, make of that what you will.
Well, I mean, if you really want to do some sweet swag, you'd always try to take out the land mollusk with the ice rod. Does about the same amount of damage as the fire rod, but it's just not as...
Yeah. Alright, let's see how Apathy does with this bomb jump. Or a little bomb clip, pardon me. Very nice. Little hoppy boy. So, like Nini said, we can't actually get into Meyer, so we're going to do this boots clip to teleport us, very nice Apathy, into the Meyer area, which we would normally only be able to reach via flute, which we don't even get. And then we can just mirror right out. Because of that, we saw this odd glitch state that we're about to see on Kyong's side of the screen, and that is because the game doesn't quite know how to handle us getting into an area that would normally be raining. So it does a little graphical glitch, but that'll be all gone once we go back through the mirror portal at the end of Desert Palace.
So it's important to note that while we do have the Titan's Mitt, that you need to fight your urge to pick up the Power Glove here. The way that this game works is if you get items that are inferior, even if you have something that's superior, it'll still override it. So you could overwrite your Titan Mitt with the Power Glove. Luckily, through the way that we route this dungeon, we don't have to worry about that.
Mm-hmm. Now I have, and this is a me question, where in the run from this point on do we need specifically the Titan's Mitts? Because we don't get into Ice Palace typically, if you're doing the Ice Palace mirror wrap, you don't get into Ice Palace with them. You can use any strength upgrade to get to Cold Stare. So I just don't know. But it would still lose you time because you're going to get a chest that you don't need. You don't specifically need meds. I just wanted to make sure that... See, I'm learning too, friends.
Yeah, it's not like a run ending thing, it's just a time loss, but it's just a fun fact about this game. Or
Yeah,
maybe not a fun fact.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just doubting my own fact.
Your fact is absolutely correct.
It's something alright. Speaking of which, this fight that we get to do here, so
Apathy missed that one.
Kyong has the silvers. We could see Kyong just straight up hit these guys with 1 silver each for a nice 1-round fight. Or you can opt to do sword spins, 2 fire rods. Basically what I'm just trying to say is this boss is much more enjoyable in all dungeons.
Absolutely. It's not a joke because you can still screw it up, cough cough me. But it's definitely a lot more enjoyable with a fire rod and some nice hearts in your hand. We see those silvers come into play. Beautiful 1 cycle.
Yeah, point blank shots too.
Those poor Landmos, they were just trying to wake up, pop their heads out, see what was going on, and they got sniped.
Yeah, but at least it was a swift end. Unfortunately, apathyduck made them suffer in fire.
Oh, yeah. So...
Oh, you want to take it away?
Yeah, I would love to. So we're heading into the Misery Mire area. Misery Mire... First off, I want to point out that the room that apathyduck is in right now is called Mire 2. It is the second room in Mire. So this is Mire 2. I personally believe that this split is one of the most entertaining splits in the All Dungeons Restricted Major Glitch category. Because we are going to get the hook shot in this split. Now, for those of you familiar with A Link to the Past, you might be saying, but Anders, there's no hook shot in Misery Mire. Well, you're right. But because we are entering through Misery Mire, the dungeon ID is set to Misery Mire. Then we're going to do some clips to hop around because all of the dungeon maps and cave maps are all on the same 2D plane, basically, and using some innovative walls are not real objects to us strats, we can... Thanks, A0. We can hop around to what looks like other dungeons. But...
Wait. But Anders, what kind of dungeons are we going to be hopping to?
That is a good question. So we're going to do some fun little strats to get us into Tower of Hera. And then we're going to go from Tower of Hera and do another little jump into Swamp Palace. We're going to flood Swamp Palace. We're going to grab that hookshot and we're going to mirror. But Anders, if we mirror, won't it take us to the beginning of Swamp Palace? No, you're stupid.
Hey, that's my line.
You're not actually stupid, though, so I didn't want to say it to you.
No, it was the Anders part.
Oh, that's fine. Oh gosh, Apathy doing a very nice Mire Bomb jump. A few little buffers to make sure he was in the right place, but I'm happy with it still.
It's a really crazy... Ooh, yeah, I was about to say, it's like he almost left that key there. That would have been really unfortunate.
So the reason that I wanted to run through all those glitches ahead of time is so that when they come up, you guys know what's going to happen, because it does come pretty quickly. And I also want to point out something that was mentioned to me earlier in this morning's comms when I was commentating Andy versus Link Orange. Someone had asked, why don't we just get the hookshot when we're in Tower of Hera initially? Well, we would need actually another small key for that, and there's really no way for it to happen. Technically, we could do it, but it just doesn't fit in the route as easily.
Also, we don't have the flippers.
That is true, and you do need the flippy flops. Gosh, I should have said that, but no one... Do we need the flippers at this point?
No, we don't get the flippers till past Hera. Flippers are during the desert.
You're right. Because we do have a little swimming to do.
Yeah, there's really no keys to spare in Hera, but lucky for us, there are, I think, 3 keys to spare in Mire that you don't really need.
I'm wondering if using bombs you would be able to basically do the equivalent of a diver down to avoid that splash tile in that room. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm just giving people ideas at this point. Apathy does a great job of that, and now we've returned to Mire 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, it's actually kind of. I feel bad, but we should have covered a little bit of what those bomb jumps. They're really nice that we have them. Those
They're
bomb
newer.
clips they were found for us roughly about 2 years ago, with the Mire one being the newest one. Before that was a more optimal strat if you can get sword buffers, and we used to go on the left side to clip into that little fairy room. So
Okay.
I, for one, am very thankful. This is by far my favorite split, and this is the entire reason why I wanted to learn all dungeons, is just to do like Mire 2 twice, because when it's executed perfectly, it just looks so smooth. And then when you're able to do those 2 bomb clips, traverse between 2 separate dungeons, 3 total, and then just get your way back to Mire and take on the boss. It's just, it's so good.
Oh, nice chef's kiss. I'm going to attempt to explain why Apathy just threw a block in a void, and Ninnies is going to punch me when I say something wrong. So by
I'm not a very
tossing
violent.
that... You're not, but I would let you punch me. That sounds bad.
How about some head pats instead?
Thank you.
Yeah.
So he tossed it, and we'll see it on Kyong's side, I'm assuming. He will toss this Samaria block into the void. That sets the altitude variable basically to 255. What that means is basically, for lack of better terms, it goes on the same plane as the fire rod. Then by timing these sword swings that he's going to do in the next room and getting the fire rod to hit specifically on the anti-fairy, it will trigger basically an off-screen switch. But he misses it. That's sad, but I'm still... Every time I think I have it, that happens.
Sorry, I don't mean to be silent. I just have to refresh my stream again. I was getting way too much buffering.
No worries, no worries. We got some discourse in chat, and I'm just gonna ignore it, as Apathy has a very nice Vidi fight from what I could see. Kyong heading in there now with these silver arrows. This is kind of a joke. It's not, but it still feels like it. Very, very, very nice Silvers fight. Apathy at this point is going to head to the Swamp Palace. But you're gonna say, but Anders, how can we get to Swamp Palace when we're stuck in the Mire area? Well, let me tell you, if you would stop interrupting me, jeez.
And
He's just
taking
gonna
all
do a
of my
little boot slip.
lines.
I know, I'm so sorry. RMG stands for Restricted Major Glitches. And here's a little bit of a Help Us Or King command. Ooh, accidental map from Apathy. I think he's getting a little flustered, but I understand why. So I also want to take a moment to, especially at this point, shout out Yuzuhara, who is primarily a glitch finder, glitch hunter, and Tazzer, who has spent a lot of time on this game, found many of the amazing glitches and strategies that you're seeing here today. And so, you know, just shout out to Yuzuhara for really putting the work in to help us get as far as we have, since so much has changed, especially if you remember the old All Dungeons Restricted Major Glitches category. you know, life happens.
All right, I'm back and everything is working again.
Welcome back. I missed you.
It's good to be here. Good company.
I mean, you like, I saw that you were doing this one, and Apathy was like, "Does anyone else want to do it?" I was like, "Oh, I get to hang out with Denise." Absolutely, genuinely.
Oh, stop.
I'm not joking.
Go on.
But so we see that Apathy is heading into this big key area, but he's already gotten everything. Basically, doing that and getting that hook shot early allows us to skip the entire left side of the dungeon from here. Very cool, super happy, makes me smile. Now he's going to head up and do what we call diver down or holy diver, or I don't even know what you want to call it. Basically, we can manipulate it so that we're going to jump over this rail over here, and avoid the splash tile that would put us into the swimming animation. Doing that, basically, it negates the fact that the that area needs to be drained to get through there, and it makes our lives a lot easier. We get to skip an animation, we get to skip a little bit of a room.
Get to skip several rooms by having to traverse all the way onto the complete left side of swamp area.
I have a feeling we're gonna see Apathy go for the zero cycle.
Yeah, I mean this dungeon in previous versions of this, before we had Diver Down, Holy Diver, whatever you want to call it, Diver, was just it was probably the most boring part of this dungeon, or of this run, because you know you go from Escape Eastern and then you're just like on fire, you know, doing glitches, bomb clips, bomb jumps, you know, going through this run, and then all of a sudden you hit Swamp Palace, then it all slows down, and then afterwards you have to speed all the way back up. You know, so I'm really glad that, you know, that glitch is in here, so it still allows you to like kind of keep the execution up and keep the anticipation of getting these things, and kind of keeps you like in at least third gear.
Apathy kept cool after that unfortunate mistake in this Argus fight. Really managed to save that, so good on him. Just missing the zero cycle, Kyong took out a little bit of the rage with those pokes against that wall.
Yeah, but I mean, both of our runners are staying relatively close to one another. This was a really good race here.
Yeah, I'm very nervous. I have a headband in my hands right now. I've just been picking at the fabric because I'm very nervous.
All right, so here comes a very interesting glitch. We're going to utilize a broken camera, and we're going to utilize the mirror to essentially allow us to wrap around and get to the entrance of ice without having to, you know, go through the traditional ways of swimming over to it, you know, lifting up the rock, going right back into Dark World. And very cleanly executed. It's a very dangerous clip, because if you go a little bit too north, you can just hard lock the game. And hard locking the game here is extremely devastating, mainly because, you know, sure, you can save and quit in this category, but as you just saw, they did Desert Palace, Mire, and Swamp, all without a save and quit.
15 minutes of work that you would have to get rid of.
Uh-oh.
We had a nice icebreaker on Apathy's side of the screen, and I'm getting very nervous at the moment. There we go. This looks better.
Good. All right, Kyong is safe.
Apathy's getting a
I
lot
forgot to
from
breathe
him.
for a second.
I know,
I was
right?
looking very nervous.
And this clip that Kyong is doing to get into this room that he's now in Ice Palace, we have seen quite a bit of issue with that lately. So I'm glad to see both runners do it properly and get through. Like I said, this is a really stressful dungeon for many of us. Partially just because, one, it's the fastest split. And two, you're magic is very valuable here. You need to have a full magic bar to be able to even defeat Cold Stare, the boss that Apathy has just dropped into. And then also, if you happen to pass during this fight, saves the fight there. Good job, Apathy. If you happen to pass during this fight, you need to find more magic because you've lost it all during the Cold Stare fight, and you need to have it for the refight. And we've seen many a runner have to make some interesting choices to continue on at that point, or just straight up forfeit because it's very difficult to.
Yeah, luckily both of our runners didn't have any problems with Icebreaker. You can use a maximum of 4 Samaria Cane blocks because underneath both of those skull blocks is a small magic refill, and you can still top yourself off enough to have the shots that you need to break Cold Stare out. So that's kind of where that is, but luckily neither of our runner had that issue to think about. Ooh, and a really clean fight from Kyong here.
Yeah, using that combination of poke strats and spins, those 3 Cold Stares just don't even move anywhere.
So right now, I'm a little bit nervous. Both of our runners have a healthy amount of bombs, but Kyong has right now the bare minimum. So if there's any issue with getting this bomb here for the Ice Rod Cave, we may have to see something kind of come up for getting into Turtle Rock, because we're going to utilize another mirror wrap to get into the back end of Turtle Rock. And that one, you need a bomb to unlock it.
Absolutely. I have a feeling. I have a good feeling about this for him though, because I believe that that Kyong also happens to know the clip strat to get in there.
Yeah,
that we've seen.
There is a clip to get into that room without having a bomb. It is actually kind of interesting. It just teleports you straight up into.
Apathy doing our little do-si-do to get into the to wrap up into Turtle Rock.
Choosing not to get the fairy.
Who needs it?
I mean, apathyduck's probably hoping for the 50-50 drop of the fairy with the pokies. Something that, if you're familiar with Link to the Past at all, but if not, I'm going to introduce you into something that's called drop packages. So all the enemies in this game have their own little set of packages of things they can drop, like that helmet sword, that mini helmet sword. It can also drop the fairy, but since we save and quit, it resets the packaging. So we got the 50-50 drop there, which means that when apathyduck kills the pokey here, since we're killing 2 parts of it, he has 2 50-50 shots at getting the fairy.
Let's just hope that he does.
I mean, there's still also that possibility it just doesn't happen.
Exactly.
Very nice mirror wrap from Kyong here. And expertly dodging those lasers too, giving him quite a lot of health here for the rest of this dungeon. I apologize, giving them.
I also want to point out that in the second room of Turtle Rock that we've been seeing, hey, he got the fairy! There's a mini Helmasaur. That guy is a jerk. I hate him. I've been calling him the true boss of this dungeon lately. I've seen so many people fall off to him.
He's a quick one.
Apathy going for second round to get to Trinex, the boss of this dungeon, for our final Unitasker. The oh, that's unfortunate, but he's fine. The Ice Rod being our final Unitasker.
Nice little frame roll there.
Yeah.
Just dropping an extra block there. Didn't get the
Cute.
magic refill. I'm not really worried, but normally if you're kind of coming in here doing front door strats for Trinex, running out of magic here is just about as good as dying.
Oh, she's just having some real bad luck with those iframes.
Yeah, Duck needs to be really careful with the fire rod shots here. Only has 2 left and has to hit both of them.
Oh, I believe he did, yes.
Alright, we're good. We're good.
Are you breathing? I'm not. I'm having trouble. And a spin and a slash to the face, and he takes care of that Onyx-looking friend.
Yeah, little Helmasaur, though, almost got Kyong there.
Yeah, but Kyong took him out.
It's a quick one.
Pull up the brackets, make sure I know who will be the next match, depending.
So our next dungeon, we're going to go to Ganon's Tower. It's important to note that we do have all 7 crystals to logically enter and officially enter this dungeon. However, we're going to do it the all dungeons way. Since we have the ability to clip into things, we're going to skip that lone cutscene. And also because after we're done with T-Rock, since we never really opened it in the first place, we're kind of stuck.
We are inside the forehead of the turtle, so we have to save and quit.
So, a safety you can take here is you can talk to the old man in the cave. He will refill your hearts. I don't
His
think we're
lips
going to
are
see...
magical.
Well, we didn't see apathyduck do it, but there's a chance that we may see Kyong do it, because kind of coming into G-Tower with only 8 hearts, a lot of things in here will do anywhere from 2 to 4 hearts of damage to you.
So you may think, wow, Apathy's clip looked a lot similar to the one he's been doing to get into Hera. It basically is, but instead he took the Dark Portal and then just clipped up to GT. He opts to take the Torch key, which is my personal favorite of the 3 that we need. There are 3 optional keys. You need to get one of them. One is there, one is on a mini Helmasaur layer in the dungeon, and then one is inside a chest surrounded by a bunny beam and some anti-fairies.
I also may be wrong on this, but that is not apathyduck's favorite small key to get in this dungeon.
No, he typically, I believe, goes for the Helmasaur, mini Helma. But I could be wrong. Honestly, there's a point where all the runners and their specialties just kind of start to run together. But
the cool thing about this speedrun and this category in particular is that while the route and the way that we go through the dungeons is pretty much set, how each player manages their arrows and their bombs and the additional pickups like small hearts, small keys where they choose to get them in certain dungeons, it adds like a little extra flair, like how we saw Kyong utilize the Brahmin meat silvers. That's just, Kyong's way of, getting through this the speed run, and it adds a little bit of like little flair to it. It's kind of nice.
Even like sometimes not getting a heart to keep out the brain, do the thing that I want you to do, think. To not have sword beams is an intentional strat some of the time, meaning not having full hearts is sometimes important in this category, depending on the person.
Yeah, because unfortunately sword beams only do just fighter sword damage. Even you could have the gold sword and use the sword beams and they still only do just fighter sword.
Which, that is something that I will admit that I really struggle with. I very much enjoy having full health. I'm one of those gamers, and so it's hard for me to get good hits on things like, for example, Mothula, because I'm trying to use sword beams. Ooh, a little bit of a Mimic's party, but he saves it. Mimics
Yeah,
2,
kinda-
2 Mimics 2 Furious went pretty well.
Yeah, I was about to say, just like those mimics, there's a couple of different ways to kind of get them in like their positioning where it makes it a little bit easier for you to get through. Um, you know, Duck unfortunately just was a little bit too slow on one of the shots, so it actually ended up going into the spike. It actually could have just been that the spike was like literally on the same spot where the mimic was, and so I think the spike has a bigger hitbox, so it just locked in there before it hit the mimic.
We see Apathy running into the Gauntlet, 5 sets of rooms with varying conditions and enemies that you must kill, including these blue Zazzix, red Zazzix, Stalfos, Beamos, and it's very stressful. There's spikes and ice physics and conveyor belts. Looks like he's still set up properly. He managed to get that fire rod shot off. So that should set him up to get into Land Mode 2, to Land Mode 2 Furious. Let's see how that goes for him. Hopefully better than Land Mode 1. Oh no, still gets bullied by that, I don't know what that enemy is called, but you see him in the corner there.
Yeah, I mean, that's mainly the problem with a lot of remakes is you see the first Land Molus and you're just like, whatever, but you're like, aha, what if Land Molus, but more annoying?
Yeah. I will always say that Wizroat room that Apathy just left looks so nice when you just kill them all with one blast.
Yeah, the Cadence of Mara is really nice here with these rooms. You basically get to do it coming from the north and they come from the south. The north one is a little bit more interesting just because of the invisible floor. So sometimes, you know, when you're learning it for the first couple of times, you might just accidentally fall. There is an alternate strat that if you are a little bit low on magic, it looks very cool. You do really quick 3 shots with the bow and arrow. But that is also provided you have enough arrows at this point.
He remembers that he already has his key and that he doesn't need to kill that mini Helmasaur.
Probably pretty sad about it, if that is his favorite small key to get.
I think that's what he typically goes for, but honestly sometimes it's just nice to go for that specific the torch one, because it's just right there. It's easy to get. It has a very nice Moldorm 2 fight.
Yeah, it was really nice. Moldorm was being really nice by kind of kicking in that corner, letting apathyduck take his time and seize the opportunity to get that spin, to get that quick.
Now, Apathy is going to be heading into Aghanim 2. This is the real Aghanim plus 2 copies. It's geometry, hit the real balls at the wizard, get 6 hits.
Yeah,
It's
this
also-
is definitely the better version of the rematched fights that you get to do, because if
Absolutely.
you noticed, we had to fight all the light world bosses, and Aghanim is technically a light world boss, which is why we're going to be going there after the split.
Very, very nice cycling, considering from Apathy. Not exactly the easiest setups to hit, but getting a few good triples and finishing it off very nicely. So as you mentioned, we are going to go into Agate Tower. Agate Tower should be pretty solid for us. We don't have to worry about our magic. We are overpowered in equipment. But Aghanim 1, the actual boss fight, is one of the most RNG heavy portions of the game. So we can expect.
Hold on. You just said we're coming in here overpowered. Then why should we even worry about the first Aghanim?
So Aghanim is like blind in a sense, not in the scripted way, but as we mentioned before, it didn't matter what sword we were fighting blind with because he took the same damage from everything. That's the same with Aghanim 1. Aghanim 1 will always take the same damage no matter what you're using to reflect his shots because he's hurting himself. The first shot that Aghanim will send at you is a reflectable ball. Then the next shots, 3 shots, 50% chance blue ball that is non-reflectable. 50% chance that it will be reflectable. And then the round after that will be a lightning bolt, which you can't do anything to.
But Anders, are you saying that no matter how well I execute this dungeon, there is still going to be a random number generator that interferes with my time?
Why, yes, that is what I'm saying. And as I will put in chat right now, here are the percentages. You can get anywhere from 0 to 15 blue balls. And each blue ball to a point adds 6 seconds to your time. Apathy heading into Foreman's basement, using some fun strats to make sure he has arrows, and I don't really know why I needed the arrows, but that's fine. Oh, actually, I kind of, because he doesn't have magic. All right, I see what you're doing, Mr. Apathy. Or maybe I don't. Okay,
no, there's no reason to get those. I believe Apathy was just taking that route out of the Circle of Pot.
Yeah. So here's Aghanim.
So Kyong with only one arrow will most likely be picking up these arrows for a specific purpose.
Yeah. It all comes down to blue balls and luck, friends. We also have Ganon warps to worry about. So I'm gonna really focus on Apathy and see what we can get.
Yeah, no kidding. There's a lot of RNG just in like the very end of this category. We have blue balls, and after that we have the positioning of where Ganon teleports to after phase 1. Usually, I believe both of our runners are gonna have a nice one cycle phase 1, but if Ganon goes in one of like the top corners, or like it could be a little bit of a longer one, just depends on how aggressive that they want to get with the boss. And then after that, we have a lot of warps that are going to be coming on after that. So Ganon can warp a lot of times in between each individual hit.
0 blue balls.
Wow, sorry, that's insane.
Yeah, Apathy got 0 blue balls. I'm gonna watch on Kyong now. You can continue talking, and then I'll interrupt you probably.
Nah, I was pretty much done. After that, it's just after phase 3 Ganon, it's just all execute.
We have a blue ball on Kyong's side. Thank you.
It's really unfortunate to see that, but it's really going to kind of come down to apathyduck's execution here. The nice thing about doing Aghanim's Tower at the very end is, as you saw after we left G Tower, we had just as much magic and hearts as we were ever going to have the fight with, but by doing it this way, we get a full refill before going into this and making it a very comfortable Ganon fight.
So Kyong had 1 blue ball. This is a race, friends. Apathy in phase 2, going for these poke strats, deciding to take that hit, hug the pig, to make sure that he didn't have beams. That little fire bat hit was not exactly planned. See how the warps are. We have a couple of warps. We are in phase 3 on apathyduck07's side. 2 hits on him, 2 more to go to enter phase 4. It's all about these warps. Oh, he's being a dick today. Sorry, pardon my French. Alright, Apathy is entering phase 4 while Kyong is starting phase 1. Gets the, misses the cape spin.
Yeah, but luckily has the first free hit on Ganon, so still gonna get a nice little 3 cycle here for the first round, and sets up for another 3. Meanwhile, Kyong being a little bit more aggressive here, getting into phase 3 with just a 1-1. Duck unfortunately releasing the spin a little bit too slow, or too early, getting into a little frozen moment there, so behind on one of the spins that I believe Duck was hoping. There
it is. That is a pig death. Holy crap, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, Silver's really bringing this close. All right, we're gonna see.
Oh my god, I don't know.
Or hopefully none of them walks off. Okay, so Duck is in with an official SRO race time of 1:13:02.
Oh my
And
gosh.
Kyong
It's finishing with an official SRL time of
inside.
1:13:10. With that beep, I believe we are joined by someone. GG, whoever you are, that was insane.
Yeah.
Apathy. I am not one to ever give you any credit for anything ever. But holy shit, buddy. How you feeling? Angry?
Yeah, pretty, I got the 110 and I can't string together a decent run, so, you know.
Hey, that was ended up being some really great recovery and really great execution there. And the run started out beautifully up until that unfortunate Skull Woods.
I mean, pod was pretty bad. I forgot what, I know Helmet was slow. I had to play it really safe. Something else went wrong in pod too, but I ended up like, it's an 803 pod, which is not great. Yo,
Kyong,
GG.
GG on that PB
Yo.
in that.
Thanks.
Holy, so Apathy, we know that you were watching because you were talking to us in chat half the time. Kyong, were you watching along?
I was watching till the beginning of Ganon's Tower, and I just closed his stream.
Yeah, I closed it right after blue balls. Did you get 0-2 then?
I got
Got
one
You got one.
blue
Jeez.
ball and 2 warps.
Oh, I got a
That warps out the butt, Apathy.
yeah, that and I blued Ganon in the middle of it.
But man, guys, this was the race that I needed to not be able to sleep tonight. Genuine congratulations. What are our thoughts?
I'll let the man with the PB go for it.
I mean,
Yes,
definitely
he's-
can't complain. I've been trying to improve the silver side of the things because I didn't have a lot of time to like sit down and actually get better at Helm and stuff. So I decided a little time ago that I wanted to do silvers. I really didn't expect to not do as many mistakes as happened, but damn.
I mean, I think this is probably the best run with silvers I've ever seen personally.
I mean, I wanted to say like, you blew my mind. I hadn't seen that silver strat.
Yeah,
that
that one.
live.
Yeah, that was basically
interesting to see.
flawless, Joe. It was nuts.
Yeah, there were a
Yeah.
lot of moments in chat where everyone was like, "Wow, I love that silver strat. I've never seen anyone do it that well."
I know
Awesome.
Kozer's had.
Incredibly clean.
I think Kozer's had some 112s with them. I'm pretty sure this is definitely the highest PB with silvers, though. I don't.
Yeah.
Of Kyong has, so it'd be nice to. I mean, you're right there for 112, so it'd be nice to get a 112 on the board with silvers.
Oh
Absolutely.
god, that's pushing it.
That's no
It's
pressure,
10
no
seconds
pressure.
away. How is that pushing it?
Oh,
But
I do want to mention that with this outcome, Apathy, you're going to be heading into the next round against Zero Rush, the number 6 seed. How does that make you feel? Okay, I think that's what we needed to hear there. Kyong, you're going to be up against the 27 seed Matt7898. How are you feeling about that?
I haven't seen much of his AD stuff, honestly, even though I know him from other things. We'll see. I think his PB should be significantly better than mine.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure, but
I mean, do you think you guys' PBs are like literally tied right now? Almost. They're really close. Matt's
Oh,
got a really
no.
low 113. So I don't think Matt has the 112, unless I mean people are PBing and not submitting because then they just PB, like right afterwards. So, last I checked, he's got a low 113. So that should be a really good one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited for these. This was a very nice match from both of you. You know, I would say I'm here to pick up some stuff or pick at you guys, but really, I don't know. Chat, do you have anything that you want to ask?
I mean, I will say, Duck, Honors made it clear that we had to pick on you, but your run made it hard for us to pick on you.
I mean,
You woke up this morning
No.
feeling like P. Diddy.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 splits that are plus 20. So, like, this wasn't even without the Meyer, or even without the Woods death. This isn't all that great. I mean, take like a minute 20 off of this. It's like, I at 111. So I don't know. I just like I got the 110 and like literally every month. I haven't even got a 111 since then. So I don't know. Just a little frustrated. Like I'm not trying to. Like I'm glad I won. It feels bad that like I had a win basically from luck though.
I mean, looking at Kyong splits though, just insane, on fire, gold, ahead. You lost a little bit of time in Misery Mire and Swamp, but like right after that, it was just making time, then another gold. Just insane run.
Are you two still live?
Yeah.
Because what I could do is I could swap to the widescreen screen quickly. You could show off your live split if you want to do that. If you want,
Yeah,
if
my
you want to
splits
show your
are
split.
super accurate because this is just my silver splits, but the golds are mostly accurate. I imported them over from the normal route.
I think we're good. We can just
Yeah.
have a little talky talk.
But yeah, Kyong, like just you were like I knew like I died and I knew like just like difference of PBs like they'd be like right on top of each other at that point. So I kept looking over and I'm just like he's having a hell of a run. So I'm like honestly I saw you do second try Ice Palace Wrap and I was just like I don't usually root against the other runner. I was just like okay good. Like I was basically the dude. Like no I don't want a huge disaster but if you could make 1 or 2 mistakes I'd really really
like,
help out the stream.
Kinda same. I saw your skull was deaf and was like, oh, well, that's probably not enough. You will probably need to do something else because
Honestly,
I mean,
it all came down to those blue balls, and what is it? 6 for every one you get.
What?
And
so,
so,
6 in every third is 12.
Okay, so with that in mind, it's like, I feel like we might have had to go back and retime it had Kyong not gotten 1 blue ball. So that's how cool this run was to watch.
Yeah, it was
your
real close.
nerve-wracking Trinex fight.
Holy crap, Apathy.
That was a save.
Deciding not to get the magic refill.
I was fine until I missed the block, and then I was. So I mean, yeah, if I don't get that second poke dash, this is GG.
But
so
hey,
that's gonna be the save of the tournament, I think.
So
yeah, Kyong, really really nice job. It was a really great run.
Yeah, thanks.
Now, anything
I
you guys
don't want to let my crankiness take anything away from you. So it's just me.
There are no,
Yeah,
just so you
don't
know,
worry.
as always.
just so you know, there's no other CSR events planned right now, so you can take all the time you want.
That's a dangerous thing to say to me because I'm going to start asking things like, Apathy, what's your dream grilled cheese?
Well, I think we're pretty much all right. Unless Kyong's got something else.
No, fine.
But yeah,
Minnie, is anything else?
No, I think we're pretty good to progress.
one last question. I believe this must have been the closest race in the tournament so far, right?
Nope.
Really?
Andy Aussie was 7 seconds.
Almost.
In brackets?
This is the closest in brackets, yeah.
Okay.
Of the first round. But in the groups we had, yeah, that one was really close, and that was Aussie missing the 1-1.
Well, congratulations to both our runners, and we'll hand it back over to our friendly restreamer.
You want me to do some plugging? Because I can totally do some plugging. Because we still have actually, see, looking on the schedule right now, we don't have any more matches currently scheduled for the All Dungeons tournament, but we do have the Diminished Cap Randomizer tournament. Some matches tomorrow. One match tomorrow, specifically. I misread. We have tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. We have Nesmer and 88 facing off against Rylux in the winners bracket round 2. So that is at 3 p.m. Eastern Time or 9 p.m. Central European Summer Time. So don't miss that. And then on April 14th on... I mean, that is tomorrow. That is tomorrow or today if you're night or in Europe, you're watching from Europe. And then on April 14th, which is actually on Tuesday. Time's hard today. We have Daxamland facing off against Goomber in the very same tournament, and again winners bracket round 2. And then on that match is on 4:15 p.m. Eastern Time or 10:15 p.m. Central European Summer Time. So don't miss that either. We have Minish Cap randomizer content and the Zelda 2 randomizer weekly race also at 9 p.m. Eastern Time that same day. So lots and lots of CSR content for you still to enjoy. But yeah, with that being said, what an awesome race it's been. And I'll pass it back to you for some final words.
Absolutely. Thanks so much. If you guys are really enjoying this content, like, man, do I love All Dungeons Restricted Major Glitches. This tournament is my dream. We have some more matches coming up. I know on Wednesday, I believe, at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we have Kaznode and Doomtap, and that'll kind of help usher us more thoroughly into the second round of the bracket stage, which has already been started by Error PS and Glan. So keep your eyes open. Some of them will be restreamed, some of them will not be. If you're interested in finding out more details, you can feel free to message me. I'm not going to volunteer anybody else. Slide into my DMs. I'll give you a link. It'll be fun. And
I
that's
think
it for me.
Swerve and Zelda are currently doing theirs.
I believe they were rescheduled.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah. But keep an eye out, and maybe you'll catch that one.
That it?
Yeah, I think so.